Happy early birthday, Scorpio seekers, and welcome everyone. Happy October. This is the Existential Shift, and if you're new, my name is Morgane. I'm very happy to have you. Scorpio, you have an eclipse at the end of October on the 25th, I believe. It's a partial eclipse in Scorpio with the new moon in Scorpio. Whatever has been hanging on a thread will be cut loose. Whatever is meant to stay properly in your life will enter finally properly. By the end of the month, especially during your season, you will know a whole lot more. For anyone who's deeply in denial, it might take up to 6 months. But if you're deeply in denial, I doubt that you're here, although who knows? And maybe you're cross-watching, so that might explain some things about a Scorpio that is unaware that you might be dealing with. It's not a time to fight for that which wishes to leave. Because it will take a piece of you with it. Not in a romantic way. Eclipses are so far away from what we can truly comprehend, which is why it's also very hard to predict them, right? Okay, is it an absolute ending or is it absolute connecting? The one thing that it's possible to say for sure is that it's absolute. Why? Because of the powers involved. Eclipses means darkness, where all the forces of the universe that we have no understanding of or control over by the most parts play their game and act their energetic agendas. And it's unfortunate and uncomfortable to say this, let alone hear it, what I'm about to say, but we, when it comes to that, are puppets. Now, it's not all bad. Forces that are above and beyond us are also linked to us. It can include our higher selves, our higher hearts, but not always. And even if it includes us, it's not necessarily an absolute control by those, that are our higher self, our higher hearts, our soul. It's bigger than we understand. So it will be graceful to accept as is, because choosing our battles is wisdom. Knowing how to choose our battles is wisdom. Especially when eventually it is for, well, mostly, it is for our highest good. Five of Swords and the Hierophant. The Hierophant is stepping in. It's like, this is the truth. This is how it ought to be. This is what it is. It's a spiritual authority. And us, the so-called peasants, maybe we don't like it. Maybe we have the perception of power over it, the perception of choice over it. But as powerful as we can be in certain aspects of life, and although we do have a say and free choice in certain matters, the celestial movement is not something that we have control over. The ultimate, highest divine truth, not that as well. The study of magic and of the esoteric and of manifestation and all of that, it's not about controlling it. It's about working with it to get ourselves to the, best, outmost expression of our potential. But not controlling it. You can predict the flood. You can do what you can to protect yourself from it, but you can't change it. And end of October, early November does bring some sort of a flood, be it an actual flood somewhere in the world or a metaphoric one. And it's a flood of the scorpionic archetype, of your archetype. Truth will come out to the surface. It will no longer be able to be hidden. And what it will do is it will affect every single one of us in one way, shape, or form. And with you, it's not going to give you a break because you're the archetype that is leading this. So you got to be on top of it, right? With how you are in the world. So you can't really deceive yourself into thinking that you can mold this truth that is coming out. This is a guidance, not a warning. A little bit of a warning, but more so guidance because we still have the Hierophant here that, you know, that tells you, hey, this truth is what it is. If you fight it, you will drown. If you honor it and respect it, you will be elevated to a higher ground. So it can be really, really good. But that is where your choice comes in. Scorpios that will take it to an egoic place will lose. Scorpios that will take it to a wise place, not a manipulative, deceitful place, a wise place. Wisdom that comes from the heart and divine truth, not selective truth, material, earthly plane selective truth, but divine truth. Those are the Scorpios that will might be placed in a very high position. It's like the false guru will be exposed, the real gurus will be elevated. If to really sum it up, and there will be some sort of spiritual authority that will put things in order. Place things in order. Four of Cups. Don't worry. Don't feel insecure. You know who you are. Deep down. Honor it. Respect it. Hear it out. Have a conversation with it. If whatever this is making you feel left out, and this is the beginning of the reading for October, so this is already something you might be experiencing right now. If you're feeling left out for whatever reason, go within and ask yourself, where am I truly in the bigger picture of this? And am I upset because what is happening is truly not true? Or am I upset because it affects me subjectively in a way that I didn't want? The Moon card. Some of you are feeling confused a little bit as to did what I know to be true was truly true, or was it subjectively true to me? That's the kind of question mark that I'm picking up from you. It creates a level of possible insecurity and self-doubt. But self-doubt is the first sign to self-awareness. In some cases, to the beginning of self-awareness, and in other cases, to the continuance of self-awareness. It's something to be proud of, the ability to self-examine and meet the aspects of ourselves that we are uncomfortable with. And as you meet these aspects within you, light and shadow, Wheel of Fortune, your inner system will begin to shift into alignment. It might not feel comfortable. It might feel a bit foreign and new to some of you. But it is an incredibly, positive process that ensures that you are set on your path to clarity amidst all this confusion. Some of you have created a rouge of some sort, a smoke and mirror around something. I don't know the reasons, I'm not judging. I'm just saying what is seen here. And that, when you create smoke, you find yourself in smoke, right? So that rouge, that smoke and mirrors had a, or has a, it bounces back, right? Call it effect to the cause, call it karma, call it boomerang effect, call it just simply being in whatever it is that you create, which is very natural. That smoke that was supposed to confuse someone, and again, I don't know the circumstances and I don't know the reason, so I'm not saying anything with judgment, right? But whatever smoke that you've created to confuse someone else, it now also affects you and confuses you. And the only way for you to clear your sight is by going deep into the mechanism that you've built and established to create that, to create these clouds and undo it, right? Turn the wheels of the clock in the other direction. And that's a journey into this mechanism that is possibly uncomfortable. You need to redo some things that you have created that has affected someone else or other people, and now you're affected by it, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not what you planned or not what you hoped for. And that's okay. Sometimes life is like that. We live, we learn, right? This is a great opportunity to break out of a certain mechanism that isn't serving you anymore, that the eclipse really want to do for you. Because Scorpio, you are the sign of purity. And because you are the sign of purity, the path of a Scorpio person goes through impurity. You either experience it from others or you're the one who creates that. It's just every sign has its higher archetype and spiritual ideal. And then the opposite of it is the challenges of the personality that carries that sign, right? The person who's actually that sign. So every sign has that. So this is yours. This is your challenges to go through in order to get to your ideal, literally purified expression. You got to yank out any lack of purity. So whenever you behave in a way that is impure, it bounces back to you several folds, several times folds, right? And recognizing that and understanding that this is not something that happens to you as bad luck or punishment, rather to see the cause and effect between your actions and the reactions, that is your spiritual and energetic breakthrough. That is your, expansion of the soul to the next level of awareness, of enlightenment. The sign of purity can't afford to act impure. So you constantly have the opportunities to exert power in impure ways that are subtextual and under the surface. And the more you choose to do so, the more you tangle yourself up in this energy. So this eclipse gives you a great opportunity to choose to do the right thing yourself. And if not, then the eclipse will do it for you. If you do it yourself, then things will start clearing out and manifest in a real positive way. Just positive events will start happening to you, right? The luck will return, quote unquote. You also have the South Node in your sign, Scorpio. That just strengthens it, right? It's like a process of a year and a half, of 18 months. You still have 9 months to go for that. You're halfway through. before the South Node moves into Libra. But if you choose to double down and continue this mechanism, it will break down in a way that will affect you badly. So again, the existential shift here is not about petting anyone. It's not about telling you what you want to hear, even though it's always my personal preference. It's just more fun. You get more subscribers, you get more likes, you know, because most people prefer to hear what they want to hear as opposed to what can actually benefit them. So I guess maybe this is one of those chances for you or opportunities for you to decide where are you taking this energy to or what are you doing with it? Because the only way out is in. If you'll choose, for example, I'm gonna take myself as an example, and hopefully you don't shoot the messenger. But if you choose, for example, to get upset with me for being a lousy reader and being negative and pessimistic and not liking you and move along, that will be doubling down, right? However, if you choose to actively listen and take several deep breaths and be very sincere with yourself, those of you that it will apply to, it will be a opportunity for a breakthrough. And I'm grateful to be able to be that catalyst for you, for some of you that will choose to accept. And I will humbly accept if you'll choose to take it out on me, aka just brush this reading off and move along, you know? This is challenging. This is somewhat uncomfortable. But let's see further, please, from my beautiful Scorpio seekers. 10 of Wands. It might all come to you at once this month. Everything that you sent out energetically will return to you to deal with, to handle. King of Pentacles. Treat it as challenging work, something that you just need to do and do it one by one really well. And that will be the best way to sail through it in the best possible way. Having a professional approach to it. But don't let your work keep you away from actually dealing with it, because some of you are going to drown yourself, with work and with responsibilities, and take upon yourself duties and responsibilities and projects just to avoid this emotional, psychological, and spiritual work that the universe is guiding you to. If you do that, then the eclipse in Taurus next month will be a real kicker. 10 of Swords. So this month is an opportunity to alleviate the kicker of the eclipse in November and make it easier. Or doubling down and then making the eclipse in November way more challenging. This says that energy is no longer patient with anyone, really, and kind of forces us to face everything. There's no going around it. Your ruler, Pluto, is also moving direct on the 8th. It's moving direct in Capricorn. And that will really seal the deal on endings that should have ended a while ago. These are things that you've been possibly carrying with you for a while, trying to, maybe keep around in all kinds of ways, trying to figure out how you can keep them around and not experience the end with them. And there's no judgment, endings are difficult, so I understand the emotional attachment perhaps to certain things. But this month doesn't let you do this. And mid-October is going to be very, very dominant with this. But it's going to bring an incredible relief because the battle is over. and you're free. And once that happens, you're going to look back and be like, what have I been fighting for, really? Was I fighting for this person, or for this job, or for this thing, or for this whatever, because I really cared about it? Or was I fighting for it for the sake of fighting for it, for the sake of possibly winning? Again, it's not, you take it how it resonates, whether it applies to you or not. You know, I'm not, this is not a personal reading, right? I'm speaking to an audience. So, like when you watch a movie in the theater, there's a lot of people watching the same movie, but each person gets, touched by it in a different way that applies to them. Either way, whatever ought to have been ending for a while is ending. And the full moon in Aries brings in some fun. Reminds you that there are other things that you can focus on and enjoy, other projects to give your energy to, other manifestations, other creations, other people, individuals to get to know, to show them your energy and your charisma and your talent and your skill. You're going to look at this ending and be like, you know what? I feel more energized now. It's like I've regained levels of energy that I've been spending on trying to make something work that it just doesn't want to work. It's time to be very discerning and make very strong decisions of what should remain and what should not remain. What kind of work relationships should or should not remain? What kind of romantic relationship should or should not remain? What kind of friendship? What kind of work? What kind of job? What kind of approach? Let's look at the cards. I'm going to continue this reading, and I'm going to do the existential shift spread. I'm going to rearrange and see other layers of this reading that can come through. So let's start with piecing together the major arcanas. We have the Hierophant, the Moon, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And now let's take the repetitions. We have 2 10s and 2 kings. Hello. By the way, if you want to deepen your relationship with the existential shift, if you feel ready to dive deeper to esoteric studies, check out Patreon. Everything is there. Link is below. And also the description box in general, because there's a lot of information there as well, other than Patreon. Okay. This is just side notes because they don't repeat themselves, and I want to focus on this right here. So I'm not going to lie. This could be a painful ending to something that has been stretching and stretching and stretching for quite some time. You may have been very confused about it and been going in, having like ups and downs and changes in your approach to it. One second you think this, the other you think that. One second you know it needs to end, the other, and then the next moment you're like, no, I should. You saw the truth in every one of the possibilities, which made you linger. But you can find truth in everything. Everything that exists has an essence of truth to it, right? In this mortal 3D existence of ours, we are forced to face discernment and decisions between subjective truths and apply an objective truth that is for our highest good and in best connectivity to the collective truth. Because if your subjective truth is an absolute contradiction to the collective truth, you will face nothing but challenges, conflict, and resistance from your environment. And it's a very painful life, right? However, if you find a way to tap into an inner subjective truth that exists in you, it's not a lie, it's not a facade, It's not a compromise. It actually exists in you that also is applicable to the collective truth or divine truth. That brings harmony and connection and cooperation. And those are not bad words. Maybe you're used to life having to be a struggle. Maybe you're used to, you know, having to stand up for your truth, always be a battle. So your system kind of got used to it that, okay, truth equals warfare or battle or difficulty. But not always. Sometimes, but not always. And it's time for you to experience truth that is convenient, that works, that is easy, that is fun, that is simple, that is cooperative with people who see eye to eye to you, that you don't have to argue with or manipulate or figure out different ways to get through this or get through that or achieve this or achieve that. It will just be simple. People will just support you, you know? It's possible, and that's what spirit wants for you. That's what I wish for you. But you gotta go deep into the smallest clock that turns around the bigger clocks and cycles in this watch that is called your system. And give it a different coding. And that coding is what is right for me and what is good for me is in alignment with what is right and good for the collective as well, which means that things are just easier because there's support from my inner mechanism and support from the outer mechanism. And letting go of trying to make the impossible possible. Because some things are impossible for a reason. Some things are impossible because they're not good for you. Your soul is trying to tell you this is not really your path. I'm not trying to, God forbid, discourage you from big goals that are just difficult and challenging. So by default, there are challenges and things that feel impossible. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the petty insistence on impossibles that aren't really in alignment for you, where you're just there for the battle. Does that make sense? Those are the things that you can let go of that just takes so much of your energy and sabotage your actual manifestation. And they take away energy from the big battles that you actually supposed to go through that mean something. Look at everything in your life. Anything that is battle oriented or resistance oriented or conflict or challenge. And be very honest. Are you fighting this or are you trying to make this work because it's truly in alignment with your hopes, dreams, and future goals and higher self? Or are you just fighting it for the sake of proving that you can win? And that's the easiest way for you to tell what it is that you need to let go of and what it is that you need to continue. You are way too smart and too talented and too powerful to waste so much on things that don't really matter. Not to you, anyway. When you find your most inner truth, the clouds will spread, the moon will be bright, and the bullshit will end. And your comrades will just appear, your true comrades. I love you. Everything is right here. Check it out if you're ready. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. Everyone, be sure to press the like button to help this echo in the kingdom of YouTube. I love you guys very much. I'm grateful for you. Happy birthday, and I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.